Emma felt Max's warmth beside her every night, but something was different. At first, that warmth was comforting, soothing, a promise that everything was okay. But as the days passed, his heat began to feel heavier. And the silence. What used to be her refuge now felt like a pressing weight, as if every corner of her apartment was whispering something she couldn't quite understand. Max had become a part of her, not just a dog. He was always there, but not in a way that made her feel safe. She knew something was wrong, but she couldn't push him away. Every time he got close, every breath of his seemed to take more than she had to give. It was like his presence had a bitter taste to it, but at the same time, it was impossible to resist. She knew she should push him away, make him stay in his own bed, but she couldn't help herself. The feeling of being lost, yet protected, was a dangerous game, but it was a game she didn't know how to escape. Each night, when Max's eyes met hers, she felt something deeper than fatigue. It wasn't just exhaustion. It was a sensation that gripped her soul, like he was taking something from her piece by piece. She didn't know what he wanted, but she knew he was taking. And she didn't know if she wanted to stop him. Her apartment, her sanctuary, was turning into a maze. But who was really trapped here? Every creak, every soft murmur of the building around her felt like a warning, like the apartment itself was alive, breathing with her, watching. She couldn't tell where her loneliness ended and Max's presence began. He was always there. But now, he wasn't just beside her. He was within her. And now she couldn't tell where she ended, and he began. When he climbed onto the bed that night, his soft breath was what unsettled her most. Not the sound, but the feeling of it. It was a sensation she knew, but she couldn't place it. Like he was part of her and she of him. And yet, it made her uneasy. The heat that once comforted her now made her restless. It was a feeling she recognized, but it wasn't hers to claim anymore. As if he had somehow become the source of both her comfort and her unease. What was he taking from her? Max lay beside her, and just like every other night, Emma couldn't resist. His touch, his proximity. He wasn't just in the bed with her. He was inside her, in places she couldn't reach, in ways she couldn't understand. She felt him in her skin, in the air she breathed, in the beats of her heart. But more than anything, she felt him draining her. Not just energy, but something deeper. She woke up exhausted, completely drained, as if something was being taken from the very core of her being. She tried to fight it, but she no longer had the strength. Every morning, the emptiness inside her grew, and yet something kept pulling her back to Max, as if he were the only one who could still make her feel real. The questions started swirling. What was happening to her? But the answers were too terrifying to face. She knew that if she confronted it, if she found out the truth, she might never be able to return to the life she had. She had to wonder, was she really ready to face it? Was it better to stay in this spiraling uncertainty than to know what was really happening? The more she thought about it, the more she realized that she no longer had a choice. She couldn't ignore it anymore. Max's presence, the way he had changed, the way she was changing, it was all too much to deny. Max was no longer just a dog. He was part of something larger, something darker. And she didn't know how to stop it anymore.